Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark TV. You guys know who I am. I'm Dr. Angela Butchester, and you know what I like to do on my show. I want to enlighten you. I want to inspire you. I want to empower you to become your best self. Now, scripture reminds us that the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. And today we want you fired up about my guest. Her name is Avril Jones, and we are talking about the book Cheated. So go on, get comfy, get cozy, get your coffee or get your tea, because we are about to get started. Hello, Avril. Thank you so much for joining me here on Daily Spark TV.
Welcome to you, Dr. Angela, and welcome to America.
Thank you so much for that. Now, I cannot wait to get started talking about your book, but we'd like to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to perhaps those few people out there that may be unfamiliar with you or your work. So first question to you is, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What makes Avril Avril?
I've had a very, very fast, varied life, and I've been in a band. I've had my own band. I've loved music, and basically that gave me the entertainment side of me, the creative side. And basically I was told from friends, I've done so much in my life, why don't you just write a book? Put it all in a book, because it would be fab. So I said, okay, then that's what I'm going to do.
I love that answer. And you know, in reading books, I think it allows us to use our imagination to go along on the journey that the author presents to us. So I think that that's really awesome that you've decided to share some of that with the readers. Now, speaking of being an author, have you always wanted to write or to become an author, or did you just take the suggestion of friends and say, I should, in fact, share my life with the world?
I think the fact of singing songs, always being creative, doing poetry, I realized that I could do it. It was just the fact that I needed the time to do it, really. That was basically the thing. I found the time and I sat down, and that was it, you know. I enjoyed doing it.
I love that answer. And, you know, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that that's what people really need, is the time to be able to just carve out a piece of the day, to be able to sit down and write about whatever it is that they're trying to share about. I couldn't agree with you more. We are so busy, and it seems like we've just gotten busier as time goes on. Now, the title of your book, Cheated. Why did you think that that was the appropriate name for this particular work?
As a woman and in the entertainment business, you can be very gullible, and you find that the other side of the sex will turn around and sort of say, come on, you know, come out with me. And yes, all right, yeah. And of course you believe everything you're told, and sometimes it goes wrong. And so therefore in my book, it does sort of give people the idea to think before you jump.
I like that piece of advice. And, you know, I've heard that there must be some validity to that, because I've heard other people say that as well, be it that it is the individual that is simply trying to kind of sell you the smoke, or if it's the industry. But you are so right there. We do need to make sure that we keep our guard up when it comes to things like that. Now, was there a particular age in which you realized that words have power, be them your words or someone else's words, but that if you could master the use of language, that you could really paint a picture for others?
Yes, I think words have always been very strong, if they're put in the right context, obviously. And I think in books, if you read somebody's autobiography or basically parts of autobiography, it actually does let people think, and it teaches people as well. Poems, books, songs, they're all the same. They all have a tale to tell.
I couldn't agree with you more. It really does have, when people are sharing and you can tell that the author cares about their project, about what they're putting out there. You can see the love, the dedication. You could see the hard work that the author has really put into the book. I love it. I love it. Now, as far as the ideal reader is concerned, I know that various books are appropriate for various ages. Would you say that it's okay for someone who is college age and older to read the book, or do you suggest that perhaps they need a little bit more life experience to be able to follow along? What's the best age range there?
I think that the age range would be 18 onwards, I would have thought. I mean, people nowadays or youngsters have grown up a lot more than what I had. And so therefore, I mean, they're very, very life, they know that what life is about, really, even at the age of 16. So yes, the book would be very interesting for 18s onwards, I would say.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're right. I remember that compared to some of the 18-year-olds right now, perhaps I was a little bit naive. So you are so right. There's definitely been a change in the culture there. Now, as far as how to properly read your book, I know that for many people, they will divide the book up so that you should read it chapter after chapter. Some do it in a way where it's cover to cover, simply page after page. Some even present their work like a devotional, where you should read a few pages, let that soak in, and then continue on. Is there a better or best way to read your book? What's your suggestion?
So far, I've had two friends that have actually phoned me and said they can't put the book down.
I like that. I like that. So it sounds like it is more so at reader discretion. Read page after page until you can't stop. I love it. I love it. Now, I want to ask you some questions about a process, about how you determined how you were going to put your book out. For many authors, determining whether or not they want to self-publish and have all of the responsibility, or if they want to hire professionals and use a publishing house. How did you determine which was best for you?
First of all, I tried to publish it myself. The cover wasn't very good, so it was just, would you believe, on Facebook. Book Trail came along and I said, I'm going to take a chance. And it actually worked for me because they've done very, very good. A beautiful front, and the way that the book has been set, it's lovely.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because I find that everyone has their own experience, which is why I asked the question. It is one of the questions that when we get emailed, it is, Dr. Angela, keep asking that question. How did you make the determination? Because we're finding out that there are certain groups that are doing just a really great job, and we want to make sure that we know who are in like the top 5 or the top 10 people to use. So thank you so much for sharing which company you utilized. Now, when it comes to the story of your book, Cheated, I always give, of course, the disclaimer that says if you want to know how it ends, you have to buy the book. But can you tell us a little bit about the storyline, about some of the things that you share in the book, Cheated?
It started off with adoption, and it wasn't a very good time. So I decided that I would leave and went to London to work as a catering officer. From then on, I've actually had so many various jobs because I really like to get my teeth into everything. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what the world is, what makes it tick. And so therefore I've done many things. And that's why I put it in the book, so that never be afraid to go forward.
And I like that piece of advice. Never be afraid to move forward. And you're so right. I believe that God has called us all to a particular thing that we do, to a particular purpose. And I know for so many folks, they say, I didn't figure out what my true purpose, what my true calling was until I was in my 40s. I did what I did in my 20s, I did what I did in my 30s. And it's like it all just started to make sense and click into place when I arrived to my 40s. And I'm finding that more and more people are finding that out. I know that the things that I did in my 20s and 30s definitely have helped me along the way. But I definitely can tell you that at this particular stage in life, it is definitely coming all into fruition. So I couldn't agree with you more. Now, I want to ask you about the process for you when it came to time to write. Did you find that you needed a particular environment? I know that many authors need it to be somewhat quiet, or they like to be secluded from everyone else so that they don't hear the hustle and bustle of the world going by. How did you take to writing, or what environment did you need in order to write and be productive?
Whilst I was writing the book, I was in actual fact going to Portugal to work. So I was actually in Scotland when I wrote it, in Portugal when I wrote it, in England I wrote it. So basically it was just a case of when I could get the time. So I really didn't get the chance to just sit and say, right, I'm going to write a book.
I love that. I know that there are folks that wish that they could simply go to one of those places, and you were able to write in all of those places. That is amazing. That's amazing. I love it. Well, Avril, it is time for us to take a very short break. But before we do, can you remind everyone, please, what is the title of your book? Where can we get a copy? And of course, how do we stay in contact with you?
The title of the book is Cheated by Avril Jones. It can be got on Amazon and bookshelves in America and in England and globally, as far as I understand. I can be contacted by Book Trail Agency or my email, which is redlee26@hotmail.com.
Alrighty, everyone. Now you know where you can get a copy of the book. We'll be back right after this.
My name is Avril Jones. My book is called Cheated. You can get the book on Amazon, where books are sold, and ebooks. Thank you very much.
Welcome to Daily Spark TV. Are you an author with a faith-based book? Be a guest. Serious about your product or service and want to try something new? Sponsor an episode. I see you're ready to get started. So visit drangela.chester.com. Thanks again for watching Daily Spark TV.
question for you is, and this may not necessarily be something that applies to you, but did you have to do any research for your book? I know that many authors want to make sure that if they mention a particular place that they've gone, or that there's some religious or historical significance to a place, that they include that. Did you have to do any research or any types of inclusion like that in your book?
Very little research, as I have got a very good memory. So whatever I've done in life, whoever I've met, what country I've been in, I can actually recall most of what I had put in the book. So research was sort of up in here, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when people are sharing their memoirs, I think it's awesome, the places that you've gone, the things that you've seen. So I can definitely understand that this is coming from your memory. Thank you for answering that question. Now, as far as the overall message that you would like for the reader to receive while they're reading your book, I know many authors sometimes will put an overarching theme. It may be one point that they try to make in one particular chapter, another bit of wit or wisdom that they share in another chapter. Did you have, or were you conscious of a theme that you placed along the way?
I felt that a lot of people who've actually read the manuscript as well, they actually told me that the book itself makes them think of situations that they had been in. And sometimes they think, well, I've been there and I should have done it that way, or I should have done this way. And looking at the book, sometimes they're saying it was a better way that you did it. So wherever I've got into a position or a problem, never be afraid of getting out of it, because there's always a way out of a problem.
I love that. You are so right there. I love it. I love it. Now, when it comes to actually getting out there and sharing about your book, COVID-19 has really changed how the majority of us have started doing whatever it is that we do. As we see now, we're not recording in studio, but instead we're doing more of those remote interviews. I know that for many of the authors that I've had the privilege of speaking with, the expos or the book tours have all been curbed due to the pandemic. How have you been able to still be in some shape or form in contact with your readers or those who want to reach out to you? How have you been able to maneuver during this time of pandemic?
The pandemic hasn't really stopped me in the fact that I am a governor on the NHS, which is our National Hospital Services over here, which is in the Sussex area. So we were having Zoom meetings with the board, and then I was also a patient research ambassador. So we get on to Zoom meetings with those once a month. Governors were about twice a week. And as regards meeting up with other people during the pandemic, we have been very lucky over here. We haven't been too bad. We're still completely open. There's no lockdowns at all. And of course, obviously, I've kept in contact with friends like in Brazil on WhatsApp, my friends in Pagham, which is just down the road, also done with WhatsApp or Skype and Facebook. So I didn't feel bad about being locked down because I knew that everybody else was doing it. That's what made me feel, you know, I thought, well, I'm doing this, but so is everybody else.
You know, I love your attitude when it comes to that. And you are so right. And I think that was one of the things that I too tried to share with everyone else was the attitude of you're not alone in this. You're not the only one on lockdown, you know, when it first came out and everyone was so frightened before we had a vaccine. You know, it's like you're not the only one on lockdown. We all are. So let's just simply try to reach out to each other and encourage each other and keep each other lifted up. And I'm so glad that you were able to do the same thing. Now, speaking of all of the various hats that you wear, if I understand correctly, this is not the first book that you have written. Can you tell us a little bit more about your life as an author?
I could deviate from poems to writing to children's books, and basically that's what I'm doing now at the moment. And Book Trail are publishing at the moment, and hopefully they're going to get that onto Amazon as soon as within the next few days, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love how the process is what the process is, but once it's out there, it hits the ground running. I love it. I love it. Now, I love how you are such an optimistic person and you have such an upbeat personality. I love that about you. So, my next question is looking at who you are as an individual. And of course, there's no right or wrong answer here, but I just want to ask, have you found that your faith has helped you become the person that you are today? I know as a breast cancer survivor, I talk about my faith a lot. As a pastoral counselor, it is what I do. But how have you found, if you have, that your faith has gotten you through or helped make you the person you are today?
I have had a very, very tough life. It's not been easy at all. And I've always considered myself to be a Christian to help people. And I've always been, I've done a lot of voluntary work in helping different people, autistic. I've even done care work, going around the houses and looking after stroke victims. So I think that Christian in me is giving me the strength to get through a lot of my problems.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, before I let you go, I do want to kind of open the floor, if you will, since we like to enlighten, inspire, and empower, and I definitely believe that you have done that. But I want to ask, are there any words of encouragement that you may want to share with someone who may be having a tough go at it right now, or any words of encouragement for that inspiring author who is trying to decide whether or not they should step out in faith and write that book? Your decision.
If you want to write a book and you've got a very good lifetime story, then go for it, because other people want to hear. There are so many people that actually get married, have children, stay in the same place, and never really do very much. And so therefore, they want to look to you and say, I wished I'd done that. And of course, the other thing is, of course, we always look to ourselves. As I said, well, in actual fact, I did have COVID over Christmas and January. Because I live on my own, I felt like putting a little red cross on the door because nobody could come near me. So it wasn't very nice. But once again, I got through it. And I think everybody should say, when you get into a difficult situation, If you've got friends, talk to them. You're not on your own. Even if you live alone, you're still not on your own.
I love it. And I couldn't ask for a better wrap up to the show. You may be alone, but you are never alone. You are so right there. Well, Avril Jones, thank you so much for spending time with me here today on Daily Spark TV. And I could not have asked for a better pep talk at the end. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, before I let you go, can you remind everyone one last time, what is the title of your book? Where can we get a copy? And how do we stay in contact with you?
The title of the book is Cheated. Can I put it up? No. And it's from Book Trail Agency in America. I'm in England, would you believe? And I took a chance and I thought, America will do me a good chance.
Alrighty, thank you so much again for being a guest on Daily Spark TV.
Thank you, Dr. Angela.
And viewers, thank you for spending time with us here as well. As always, may the Lord continue to shine his face upon you. May you receive his grace and his mercy in all that you do. Until next time, everyone, remember that you are blessed in the Lord. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Daily Spark TV. Are you an author with a faith-based book? Be a guest. Serious about your product or service and want to try something new? Sponsor an episode. I see you're ready to get started, so visit drangela.chester.com. Thanks again for watching Daily Spark TV.
My name is Avril Jones. My book is called Cheated. You can get the book on Amazon, where books are sold, and ebooks. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, Dr. Angela here. Just wanted to take a few moments to wish you and your family an amazing autumn. It is during this time of the year that we start to take in the harvest. Well, Deuteronomy 11:14 reminds us that not only will God provide the rain, but he will provide the grain, the new wine, and the oil that we need in order to be sustained. So as we start to gather with friends and family during this season, may you be reminded of all that God has done, is doing, and will continue to do in your life. So from all of us here at Daily Spark TV, may you have an amazing harvest. And remember that you are blessed in the Lord. Have a great day, everyone.